Hello everyone, and welcome to the Champions League Finals for Risen Esports. We have We Got Late versus AIM and Ignite, facing off in a best-of-5 match to determine the best Champions League team that Risen Esports has to offer. My name is Cole Isthmus Bowden. Joining me on the cast is Josiah Jensen Woods. The draft has already happened, so let's jump right into that. We can begin talking about it. Jensen, you want to give some quick little analysis? What's going on with these team comps? We can kind of talk about the draft in detail as we go forward, but there is the teams. Those are the team comps. What are our thoughts just right off the bat looking at what has been picked up by both of these teams?
Well, both teams went with pretty standard drafts. We see A and I went with the Galio Oriana, and then we see We Got Lay went with Corki Shogath, Zaya. So pretty much 10 meta picks across the board. The biggest thing I noticed is the Varus pick. He's kind of fallen off in favor in terms of other carries, but because We Got Late banned out 380 carries, he was kind of forced onto the Varus. So another hyper carry pick, because he'll most likely go with the Jinsu's Rageblade Bork Varus build. So it's a good slot in there with the Ardent Sensor support he has. And I actually think I like AIM and Ignite's team comp a little more. It's very aggressive. It's got Wombo. It's got a lot of tankiness. And I think it beats out We Got Late's comp by quite a bit. We Got Late opted for the Corki mid, so they have the double 80 carry comp going on with Jarvan, but a little bit weird of a Shogath pick. Not a biggest fan of here. I feel like they grabbed it just because it's meta. I would have liked to see some more engage, maybe a Maokai top, maybe a Gnar, but they went with the Shogath. I think it's going to get kited. I think it's going to boost the 80 carry damage numbers. Varus is going to shred that Shogath, and he's going to have a big old damage share at the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm a little intrigued by the Cho'Gath pick as well. Now, they didn't see the Varus when they picked that Cho'Gath, but they knew there was already Gragas, they knew there was Galio, they knew the Oriana and the Rakan when they picked it. So they had 4 members of AIM and Ignite, and they knew they had Jarvan too. Jarvan Cho'Gath, it has this weird synergy where if Jarvan dunks, then Cho'Gath can proc that Rupture and he can silence people inside the Cataclysm. They're not going to be able to escape too well, but Cho'Gath can't get into the Cataclysm to eat anyone unless he has Flash. The walls actually stop him from getting to his target if he wants to walk at them. So that's a little interesting. It's kind of counter synergy with your team. Obviously, Cho'Gath can run in as soon as the walls go down, so it's kind of a win some, lose some kind of combo there. But I think the issue for that Cho'Gath is if he ever tries to go for anyone, there's just so much CC on the side of AIM and Ignite to stop him from going. You can see the Shockwave come out defensively if it has to. The Explosive Cask obviously going to be able to knock the Cho'Gath away in either direction. You want to make sure that you put that in the perfect spot. If you aim it just a little off, you might give Cho'Gath a free ride to the back line. But if you're doing it right, Cho'Gath should be bounced around and out of the fight before he can get useful. Galio Taunt, obviously, also a very good way of stopping Cho'Gath from getting to those priority targets. And you can see the Chains of Corruption.
So yeah, everyone on AIM and Ignite has CC. It's a ton of CC in the comp. They have so much pick. If someone's out of position on We Got Late, they're just going to die. They're going to get Varus ulted. They're going to get knocked back by Gragas. They're going to get perma CC'd by the Galio. And luckily, they did pick the Zaya, one of the slipperiest 80 carries. We'll see if they can still catch her out, though. Even if you just say one ability on her, you can still lock her up before she has a chance to use her ultimate.
I think another question mark there is with Corki versus this team. You know, Corki always feigned for his use of the package, but how are you going to use the package against AIM and Ignite?
You're going to use it to roam. You're not going to use it to pick up kills. You're going to use it to roam to side lanes, maybe just wave clear mid and roam with it, because it's going to be hard to engage with it. You're going to have to just use that out-of-combat movement speed to get a roam off bot or get a roam off top. I don't think you're going to be using it for kill pressure. It's just not going to happen in this game. So it's going to be hard, too, with the Galio ult to cancel out your roams too.
So what we're looking for then is Corki to kind of snowball in the early to mid game, where his package suddenly becomes maybe less useful going late. Maybe having a bit of problems getting to that Varus with his damage as well.
Yeah, It's a bit of a weird Corki pick. He's going to be able to shred tanks, though. That's important. Corki does shred tanks, and they went with the double tank lineup on AIM and Ignite. So the Corki will help with killing the tanks. That's really big deal. Shredding the armor to make it easier for Zaya to do damage. And bringing a magic source to the team, making it a little harder for Galio and Gragas to itemize in this game.
Now, Galio at least, right, deals with Corki pretty well. That magic damage shield, very nice. But if he's itemizing too heavily for Corki, then, of course, the Galio is going to have a hard time against that Zaya and the Jarvan.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like the Janna pick from We Got Late. I want to talk about the Janna pick. I think it's super good here. It's a priority pick. They banned out the Lulu, and so then it really only leaves Janna for the Ardent Sensor support. Of course, a Rakan can go it, but he's not as known for being like the Ardent Sensor kind of cancer support that people hate right now. It's definitely the Janna Lulu and then Karma, but no one really prioritizes Karma that much. So they picked up the Ardent Sensor support and banned out the other big one. So the defensive support to buff up the Xayah, it's going to bring a lot of disengage, and I think the Janna ults are going to be super important this game. If you don't use the Janna ults correctly, your AD carries are just going to die. If the Gragas and the Galio get in there without getting punishment, as well as the Rakan, it's going to be a tragedy. So you're really going to need Janna to get those ults off, get those tornadoes off, to shut down any of the engage that Aim and Ignite are going to be looking to go for.
Yeah, I think Snap Tornado Cast to stop the Rakan, to stop the Galio, to stop the Gragas, all going to be very important for We Got Late.
Aim and Ignite just have a very scary team comp. Just so much CC, so much pick. A lot of damage too, honestly. Galio and Gragas for tanks do quite a bit of damage when compared to tanks like Shogath and Maokai. They bring a ton of damage, so getting a pick is gonna be super easy for them. This game's gonna be very vision dependent. If We Got Late drops the ball in vision, they're going to have a hard time in this game. So I want to see them getting a lot of wards down and buying those control wards, warding up their own jungle, warding up the enemy jungle, and just knowing where Aim and Ignite are at all times. Because if they don't, they're going to die over and over again to Aim and Ignite's pick comp.
And so something else I want to point out real quick is that We Got Late was almost forced into the Xayah pick. Aim and Ignite took the Rakan in their first rotation, so they took the Rakan and the Orianna, leaving Xayah on the table. So We Got Late then almost had to take the Xayah to remove the Rakan-Xayah combo. So Aim and Ignite almost baiting them into that pick, forcing them to play it where they might otherwise want to play something else. I think that's a clever drafting strategy that teams have not utilized maybe as well as they could have. But I'm pretty impressed to see that coming out from Aim and Ignite. So
I do think Aim and Ignite might have want to put more priority on the Xayah. They could have got Xayah Rakan, which is just insanely powerful, but they put more priority on the Orianna, and I'm wondering why. If Orianna is just like a counter, it's a comfort pick. Maybe it's just they think it's that powerful, it's that strong of a champion that you want to just run Orianna and you give up the Xayah Rakan power.
My idea, what I'm thinking is that TSM Gunman is not a big Xayah player, and so they took the Rakan to force the Xayah out of an AD carry who is not a prolific Xayah player. And the idea there is to get them on an uncomfortable AD carry champion that they otherwise may not want to play.
One thing I'm surprised about is Kalista actually got through this draft. She wasn't banned or picked.
I think
that's
Kalista's
really surprising.
Just hard.
Yeah.
As silly as it sounds, she is not an easy champion to play in my book, and so picking something a little more straightforward can be useful.
That's true. I do think the Kalista Rakan is actually better than Xayah Rakan as a combo.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe they should have gone for the Kalista, but they went for the Varus, a bit of an easier champ to execute. It does fit in. It slots into their pick comp. Varus brings CC. It's kind of similar to an Ashe. You have your engage on your AD carry. So maybe that's what they wanted. They didn't care about the Kalista, and neither did We Got Late. So not a big surprise, but it is a little crazy that Kalista got through pick ban. So it's pretty rare on this patch to see that in a competitive game.
All right, it is time for the bold predictions as we are about to hit our loading screen. We have 9 more seconds to go to get there. Who's going to win? How much time?
All right, based off team comps alone, I'm going to say Aim and Ignite are going to win.
All right, but what's
and they're
the clock?
Gonna win. They're going to win at 29 minutes.
29 minutes. I'm going to go with a bold prediction. I'm going to expect an Aim and Ignite win in 23 minutes.
23 minutes.
23 minutes. I'm just going to lay it out there. Let's see if it happens. We have both our predictions on the same team. I think their draft's a little better. I think maybe their roster's a little more talented as well, which should help them out in executing. So we will see. That's stop prediction, you know? I'm predicting a stop.
You're predicting a stomp? I could see it's a team comp you can stomp with. Any team comp that has a ton of CC like this is a team comp that can stomp, because once it gets ahead, the ball just keeps rolling, and it's really hard to bounce back from that. if Aim and Ignite win in the first 10 minutes, they just win the game.
Now, I don't mean to disrespect We Got Late either, though. I think they have a clear win condition that involves a very big Cho'Gath and a Xayah who is well protected. I think there's definitely a world in which they are able to pull it out and win this game.
Yeah, the pressure is on TSM Gunman to carry this game. That Xayah pick, it's pretty good here. I like the Xayah pick. I think it's on him to carry this game. If he drops the ball, then I don't see We Got Late winning the game just based on the team comp. And didn't notice until right now, but it's actually Cho'Gath jungle Jarvan top. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I guess not.
I'm having brief technical difficulties with the stream here. This is a little weird. Hold on one moment. Sorry about this.
It's all good.
I need to make sure we are on windowed mode. There we go. Alright, we are back. We have our stream. We have in-game. Something was wrong with my client settings. We have level 1 coming out right now. Neither team's doing anything too interesting. We can see We Got Late just setting up that 5-man spread, watching all the jungle entrances. On the other side, Aim and Ignite just kind of sitting around the blue buff. Nothing too exciting here.
Yeah, pretty basic level 1, so I don't see either of these teams invading with the comps they have. You have a bit of CC on Aim and Ignite's comp. You start W on the Rakan, and you could start Body Slam on Gragas, and you could get off a level 1 invade and potentially get a pick, but they're not going to look for it. They're just going to fan out for level 1, and I don't really blame them.
Starting items, a little interesting, I think. We see a Doran shield on that Corki, and the Relic shield as maybe a little more expected nowadays on that Xayah, getting the gold for that Janna.
Yeah, it's not a big surprise when your support is Janna.
Do you think Ardent Censor's as good as it was? I mean, we see that strategy coming out in Worlds, obviously, on patch 7.18, but with the changes to Ardent Censor, do you still think that's worth it, taking that Relic shield to get your support and item as soon as possible?
I do. I think the item is insanely powerful, and I think the strat of getting your support ahead with gold items like this is actually just a good strat, regardless of Ardent Censor's power. I think it's an underrated strategy, and I'm kind of glad it's been started. Because getting your supportive items, Ardent Censor or not, it boosts your power a ton, and overall boosts your team's power. Because if you can boost up the Janna shields by getting them... Because an underrated part about the items is the passive, which is that the shields are more powerful. Shields and heals are more powerful. That just buffs up your entire team. And that's a really strong item to get, just in general. So I think it's a totally fine strat going for the Relic Shield. 100% okay with it.
So you're arguing then that more gold is always good, right? It doesn't matter what it's being spent on, but if you can get your support more gold, they're going to be more effective.
Yeah, exactly.
We see a big level 2 engage coming out, the Ignite gonna drop, TSM Gunman taking a lot of damage, has to pop the barrier. Not really at risk of dying there, trade a summoner spells, good level 2 trade there. Well executed.
You trade the Ignite for the barrier. I say it's worth for ANI to get the barrier off. That gives a lot of kill pressure over the next 3 minutes. If you pull off a gank, the Xayah might just die without the barrier. So I think it's pretty good. You blowing Ignite early is totally fine if you trade a summoner for it.
Now, the 2 summoner spells do come off cooldown at exactly the same time, so...
Yeah.
That means that we can see that barrier being used to counter Ignite later on. The same trade may happen again if that gank doesn't come out quite so soon.
We'll see. Gragas is definitely one of the better junglers for ganking early.
And Cho'Gath, on the other hand...
some early action.
What do you think about... I've just now realized this. The Jarvan top and Cho'Gath jungle as opposed to the opposite of that.
Yeah, I also thought it was going to be the opposite, but we do see the Jarvan top. Cho'Gath jungle. I don't like Cho'Gath jungle. I don't think he has good ganks. I think he's way better in the top lane. I think you definitely should have swapped it. The Jarvan just has far superior ganks.
See a gank coming out in the mid lane there. Bestrin going to body slam in, knock up Atomic Death, force out the flash, a little bit of poke as well. That's going to get some priority in the mid lane for Natho. Well executed gank, nothing too special. Going to be able to capitalize on that as well. Summoner spells, defensive summoner spells, now down in 2 lanes for We Got Late.
Yeah, pretty standard gank. Gragas is just one of those champions where if you hit the CC, you pretty much guarantee a flash early or a kill. Body Slam is just an insanely powerful spell. So I'm glad to see he's using the early power. He can definitely outgank the Cho'Gath. The most Cho'Gath can hope for is a solid counter gank. That's all he's gonna really get. I don't think he can be the type of jungler who's going to be super proactive this game and get off a bunch of ganks. He's just going to have to try to keep track of the Gragas and pull out counter ganks or invades.
We see heavy trading coming down the top lane as well. Toxic, at risk of dying, has to use the flag and drag to get out. Barely survives. Probably going to have to recall, teleport back to lane pretty soon here. The Galio really bullying the Jarvan out. Gonna go in again. He's got the taunt on the Jarvan. The damage is almost there. Flash auto with that Galio passive. Gonna secure the first blood. Going down to aim and ignite. Bulky Robo taking the solo kill. Getting himself up 400 gold in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, that's Galio for you. He's a tank, but he does a ton of damage early. That percent health damage on his Q, the high base stats across the board. He can just pull off kills like that, and Jarvan can't really deal with it very well. To be fair, neither could the Cho'Gath. So it's not a total surprise.
I think the difference there is Cho'Gath passive, though, right? If you have a Cho'Gath in top lane, you will sustain. We can see the flash body slam coming out of Bester onto Atomic Death. Perhaps a little ambitious, burning the flash. I don't think the kill was very likely there. Still, going to force that Corki out of lane as he now has no health and no mana.
Yeah, Natho wasn't quite in position to follow up on the flash body slam. I think it was a good play if Natho had followed up a little quicker. Maybe just a bit of miscommunication on that gank. Maybe didn't communicate that he was flash body slamming. I definitely think the kill could have happened, though, if the Orianna acted a little faster. Unfortunate, although you do push him out of lane, so you got that going for you. You give Orianna a free recall, and the CS lead stays even. So that's overall not terrible, but you do lose the flash, and you lose a lot of early gank pressure on Gragas when you don't have the flash.
Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we can see the Rakan W misses. TSM Gunman going to chase down Blossom, almost going to get the kill, force out that Varus heal. Very good trade taken by We Got Late there.
Yeah, they got punished pretty hard for missing that Rakan knockup. Like, extremely hard, just for basically a missed skill shot. Lost a heal, lost a ton of health, and now they have to fight over this big wave. Luckily, I think he's going to be getting all of these minions with his last hitting. Shouldn't miss too many of them. So the CS, there's actually a big CS lead bottom. Varus is at over 20 CS, which is surprising with how good Xayah's laning is. But the Varus does counter the Xayah a little bit, outranges her.
I think you also just see that damage coming down
pressuring.
from Blight stacks as well, which makes any kind of short-ish trades end up in Varus' favor. If he can get a couple of autos down and then just land a spell, that just hurts so much more than anything Xayah can dish out in a similar amount of time.
Also, with Janna's shield now has a higher cooldown from last patch. So you can take more aggressive trades more frequently and punish the 18-second cooldown shield, which is now down to 14 seconds since he's level 5. 14 seconds, still a long time. You can get an entire other ability rotation for Varus up before the shield comes out. So you can do the aggressive trading.
Alright, so I want to go back to talking about this Cho'Gath jungle for just a little bit here. I don't think we've seen him yet. There hasn't been a whole lot out of this Cho'Gath. I don't even know if I've watched a gank happen yet. Do we think that's going to be solved at any point, or is this just a scale to late kind of pick?
I think Cho'Gath is a scale to late pick. You pick the champ for its late game tankiness. It outscales every other tank just in pure tank stats. And it's not a great early game champ. It really isn't surprising to not see very many ganks get off. It's really easy to counter his ganks. It's really easy to avoid his ganks as well. Not a champ that... It's not like a Lee Sin or a Nidalee who's going to be super proactive early game and pull off a bunch of ganks. It's more of just sit back and let the game play out, and you have another really big tank in your jungle position who provides CC in the mid game.
We do see the aim and ignite bot lane checking into that Cho'Gath. He does not have ult. He actually used it on the Krugs a couple minutes ago. I think indicating maybe that he did not want to be ganking. If you're going to use your ult as soon as you get it on a jungle camp, you're not really thinking about fighting any champions anytime soon.
Yeah, pretty much. Nothing wrong with using the ult on creeps. You want to get those stats up quickly and get that free health, and you're just going to be tankier than the other jungler. You have that going for you. You're just going to be tankier than the other jungle. He actually has a level lead over Gragas. About a 1 camp lead. I think Gragas is 1 camp away from level 6.
I guess that'll happen when the Gragas is ganking and the Cho'Gath is just farming like a madman.
Luckily, you have XP catch up to make up for it. I do think this Ignite on the side of ANI is making it so it's a little harder for We Got Late to trade or to go over farm. They can't be as aggressive because of the Ignite. So it's giving ANI a bit of a farm lead.
I think it's actually pretty interesting to point out, however, that despite having First Blood, Aven and Knight actually are even in gold with We Got Late. Most of that gold lead actually being made up for in the jungle. You can see that Cho'Gath is up almost 400 gold on the Gragas, which offsets the 400 gold in the top lane. In that blue side jungle, we can see the Shockwave coming out onto the Cho'Gath. He is going to fall. A little too greedy, wanted to hold on to that blue buff, but was not able to get there. The Jarvan was not nearby, but the Galio was. Didn't even have to use the Grand Entrance. It was enough just to be there. And then the Corki going to take out a huge chunk of damage from that Orianna. The Thunderlord's coming down, almost taking him out. Going to have to recall as well, unless this Gragas shows up and kills him. Explosive cast tossing out. The Flash does not juke it. That is another kill down for Aiming Knight. And with the Corki dead, the bot lane also now going to go in. We can see the Rakan W coming out. No ultimates burned there. I think I'm a little surprised by that. I think if the Rakan had used the quickness there, we might have seen a kill coming out for them as well.
Yeah, or the Chains of Corruption, either or coming out, I think would have probably not been a kill, but you would have got summoners. I think it was totally worth it to throw out your ultimates there. But maybe they know something we don't. Also, yeah, we saw that Cho'Gath kill. We saw the power of ANI's comp, just CC chaining the Cho'Gath, and he couldn't do anything. He had no chance to escape. The Shockwave plus the Body Slam plus the good Justice Punch from Galio just locked him up, made it impossible for him to get away.
And now Aim and Ignite going to take up that free, uncontested Infernal Drake. That will really help them as the game goes on. They have two champions who want to build lots of AP and AD, so that will just make the Varus and the Orianna even more terrifying in time.
Yeah, that's what you want early is an Infernal Drake. Definitely the best Drake to pick up. I don't think there's much of a debate over that anymore. I think most people have admitted that Infernal is probably the best, with Mounting being a close second. Maybe an Ocean Drake early is pretty nice.
I see a flash coming out from the Gragas onto the Corki. Not the cleanest of plays, actually going to fall down to that turret. And then the Cho'Gath is there to find Natho. He does not have ult, but he does have those spikes on his E. He's going to flash, use the last one of them, secure the kill on that Orianna. A little over-aggressive from Aiming Ignite, giving 2 kills over to We Got Late. The dive, not the cleanest. A free kill for that Corki, and then another kill for that Cho'Gath.
Yeah, definitely a misplay, I think, on Natho's part. He had the ultimate, and he didn't use it right away. He decided to hold it, and because of that, they had to dive turret, took 2 tower shots, and got really low over the Cho'Gath to just come in and get the cleanup kill. Bit of a weird play overall. Also, the flash body slam miss was just a little unfortunate. Not something you want to see.
You definitely want to be landing those flash body slams. If you end up body slamming and flashing and being under turret without the knockup, you are a very sad Gragas because you now don't have your main ganking ability anymore.
We see ANI picking up some item spikes. Their builds are a little cheaper than We Got Late, so they already have their first items. Orianna has the Morellonomicon, which you're going to pick up before the Corgi picks up Trinity Force, so she's a little more powerful than him right now. And then Galio picked up the Rod of Ages, which I think is a weird item buy. You're not used to seeing Rod of Ages on Galio. Usually you rush just a full tank item instead of the AP item, but maybe they want a little more damage to come out from the Galio. Maybe that's their plan.
Would wager maybe he's made a little more bold by the solo kill. I know if I get a solo kill, I'm thinking maybe I can get damage. That might be what happened there.
That's probably what it is. Gets the solo kill, also picked up the assist, so might as well go a little bit of damage. Probably going to go full tank after that. I don't imagine we're getting full AP Galio in a competitive game.
I'm still a bigger fan of the Abyssal Mask myself. I think it's a much better item. The resistances are nice. It's not a good rush item against Jarvan, however. That might be part of playing into it as well, is that if you rush an Abyssal Mask into an AD matchup, you are kind of just being a little silly. So
that's a very disrespectful item to buy, definitely. I think they saw Cho'Gath. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they did. Oh, maybe
they
not.
almost definitely didn't, because they just engaged, and they have found a Cho'Gath. Rakan having to burn flash to get out. Not at risk of dying, but that Orianna's taking a lot of damage. The Shockwave going to come out. TSM Gunman with an excellent flash out of the Shockwave, showing Double Lift how it's done. And the Janna now using the Monsoon because there is a Gragas flank. There's a Galio ult coming in. The Varus is able to take down the Xayah. The Galio is in the line getting the double taunt. This fight is all over the place. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on. Somehow there's a Jarvan there getting a kill on Rakan, but he's going to go down. All in all, it is a 2-for-1 in favor of AIM and Ignite. Turns out everyone ended up being there in that fight. It was rather cluttered, but a slight win for AIM and Ignite.
All 10 players ended up in that gang. Between TPs, between Galio ult, Orianna roamed down, Corki roamed down. Everyone was there. That was a slugfest of a fight. But AIM Ignite, they do come out on top. I think the early CC helped. They locked up the Janna, or they locked up the Xayah with the Chains of Corruption and just got a quick, easy kill. And then We Got Late just didn't quite have the damage to continue the fight. So good fight from AIM and Ignite. It's going to help a bit of a snowball.
I think,
A solo
okay,
kill.
the package being used to pick up that Orianna, she was trying to shove that wave into turret, shoved it just a little too far, and found a Corki with a completed Trinity Force in her face. That is a lot of damage coming out. We
really
can see the
good
Xayah
fight
now
from
going onto
that.
this Gragas. The Gragas at risk of dying too. One more auto attack is going to do it. He uses Body Slam to get away. Corki's going to Valk. There is no flash on the Xayah, but the Corki's going to use the flash, getting that ultimate with his rocket. Another kill going over to We Got Late. Another bit of over-aggression from AIM and Ignite.
Yeah, a bit of a misplay from Bestring, honestly. You just saw your mid laner die to the Corki. You don't have the vision, and you decide to do an invade. Very questionable. I think he just got a little cocky from winning that fight bottom and decided to go for it. Go for the blue steal, but his team wasn't in the position for him to go for it.
We see an engage coming down in the bot lane onto the Cho'Gath and Jarvan. I'm not quite sure what our jungler and top laner are doing down there. Varus, TSM gunman, or sorry, Bossum gonna use the flash to cure the kill on the Jarvan. The Gwynsu is really helping his damage out there. He got that core item spike. Has a lot more damage than you might expect for a Varus this early in the game.
Yeah, I'm very surprised Toxic opted to EQ in on that when he was only a quarter health into the Varus who had his fully stacked Rage Blade going. Kind of just asked to die there, and because of it, they're going to give up a turret. That's the first tower as well.
So maybe not as clean of an early game as AIM and Ignite had hoped for given their comp, but they have still generated themselves a modest lead. They're up by a little over 1,000 gold. Certainly not running away with the game. My prediction of 23 minutes beginning to look a little unlikely unless some ridiculousness happens here. But
yeah, we
still,
would need a couple 5-man team fights where A and I just ace them for, I think, a 23-minute game to happen.
a good flash out of Shady Gecko there to dodge that Rakan, avoiding the knock-up, saving his own life. If he gets hit by that, he is most definitely dead. But we can see AIM and Ignite now rotating mid lane. They've got the bot turret, so they want to go mid. Gragas has found a Xayah. She's going to take a big chunk of damage out of his combo there.
Yeah, and I really like that they're trying to get aggressive warding down on the side of AIM and Ignite. That's how you want to abuse this comp. You want to get the aggressive wards down. You want to clear out control wards and just look for picks the entire game. And because of their warding, it's pretty much as a free dragon. We Got Late cannot walk into that dragon or they'll just die from all the CC.
Now, it's not totally free because we can see that We Got Late. They have a Jarvan and a Cho'Gath taking a Rift Herald right now, so they're going to trade the neutral objectives. That Rift Herald going to go down any moment now.
If you're A and I think you should know that this Rift Herald is going on. I think they could have actually gone and stopped that from happening. They had the time to go and check it. They should have seen that the Jarvan and the Cho'Gath are missing and know that they're probably going for that.
Flash Body Slam going down on the Corki. The Shockwave going to follow, but the Monsoon going to keep that Corki alive. However, the Galio ultimate going to come in. TSM Gunman dodging it out with the Feather Storm. Still going to go down. Corki going to pick up the kill on Rakan. The Cho'Gath running around aimlessly, taking a ton of damage from that Varus. A 1-for-1 trade at the end. The Orianna has to back off. The Corki and Cho'Gath both very low as well. Varus still full health. Probably going to be able to siege here. We'll see if We Got Late can hold on after that trade. Corki going to be knocked up by that Justice Punch. Galio getting the 3-man flash taunt. Jarvan coming in for the dunk, going to absolutely decimate the Gragas. Another 1-for-1. Varus getting very low, but he's kiting very well. There's not enough damage left onto We Got Late. He's still going to kill the Varus, and the Galio now, the last member alive on AIM and Ignite. That Orianna still in base. It is going to end up being a 3-for-3 at the end of things. The turret not going down. Even trades all around. We Got Late holding on from that super aggressive dive.
Yeah, that was very aggressive, and they almost pulled it off too. They almost killed the Corki. He only got away with the Valkyrie, almost died to the CC chain, but he did manage to live. And because of at some point in that turret dive, Oriana actually took aggro, and because of it, she got chunked way too low and had to back out. And then We Got Lay was able to retake the fight once they picked off the Varus because there was no other damage left on Aim and Ignite's side.
I think interesting, though, at least with that Oriana, she got the shockwave off. It landed on the Corki. So the Corki did almost die there. You want to really be landing it on Corki or Zai every time. We can see it engaged by the Corki using the package. That Rakan almost dead. Burns flash to get out. Corki now going to chase right into an Oriana. Now also almost dead. The Rupture going to save the Corki. Damage going down onto the Oriana. She's going to fall. Bestrin going to clean up the kill. Make it a trade 1-for-1. The Rakan going to engage with the quickness and the W. It is not enough. He's going to take a lot of damage, have to end up running away. So we see a 2-for-1 in favor of We Got Late. Playing that very well. Corki ending up turning it around onto that Oriana. Natho not using the shockwave and going down because he didn't think he was going to need his ultimate. Rift Herald going down in the mid lane. This turret is going to fall.
Yeah, that Corki damage is just absolutely insane. He has the BF sword and the Trinity Force spike, and he is just bursting champions at this point. And it's really hard to do anything about. We saw him get chunked low, but he still managed to make the turnaround on Oriana, get the crucial pick that helped them get the next kill as well. And they chunked the Rakan really low, and Rakan couldn't play aggressive in that fight. He tried to get the quickness down, but he had to jump right out. Didn't get a lot of value out of it. But on the trade-off, ANI does most likely get a turret.
That Galio a little too far forward, almost going to go down. We can see the flash from the Corki onto the Varus. Varus almost dead, kiting away, getting very low, just barely falling. That Corki almost dead as well. Galio going to get the return kill with that Q onto the Xayah. I'm not sure why they did not go for the kill on that Galio, but that's going to end up making it a 1-for-1. The turret falls at the start of that play, a little bit in favor of Aim and Ignite.
Good block on the body slam.
And then in the top lane, we see Agragas dying solo to that Jarvan top. He has a black cleaver. He's not to be messed with.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. If he got the body slam off, I think he would have lived, but Jarvan stood in front of it, so blocked him getting out of the Cataclysm and just picking up the pretty free kill, honestly. That, I don't know what exactly Bestring was doing there, personally. I also am not a big fan of his build. I'm not a fan of the Frozen Gauntlet on Gragas.
Now that build has been
going to tank item.
Somewhat meta for a while on that Gragas, right? That's something that people have been going for a while. Jarvan, by the way, very dead here.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But there are some flaws with that build, where you don't really get any HP until you start building your third item, which means that you're pretty susceptible to burst damage, even as a tank.
I personally don't like it. I think if other tanks just build tank items, they beat you on the power spike, and they're just extremely tanky, especially when you're against a Shogath who stacks so much health. He's very behind on the tank curve.
I think it's pretty funny. We can see this Gragas standing next to the Varus. They're actually going to go onto the Baron right now.
Yeah, they see 3 members of We Got Late bottom, so they're just going to rush the Baron. And it's pretty free, honestly, with Varus.
Shady Gecko going to get caught a little bit. Has to burn the flash to get away. That means he cannot flash into the Baron pit. They're going to secure the very free Baron. It's going to be traded for a bot lane outer turret. A little unlucky. Vestrin potentially going to die on the way out there. He gets munched by that Cho'Gath. Shockwave going down to make sure the Cho'Gath doesn't get away. It's a 1-for-1, but that does make the Baron power play a little slower to the punch here with the jungler dead. We can see that We Got Late going for this bot turret as well. They're going to get the turret. They're going to force the Rakan back. So they're getting some value out of this lost Baron. Maybe not as much as they would have wanted for giving up a very free Baron at 23 minutes.
I still think it was a lapse of judgment from We Got Late to give up the Baron like that. You see that you're against a hyper carry and you show 3 members bot. You should know that Baron can die very quick. And I don't think you send 3 members just to kill a bot tower like that. Maybe 1 or 2, but 3 members just to take down 1 tower when you know Baron's on the other side of the map and can die so easy. I don't think it's a good plan at all.
I think
and they got
to their
punished
credit, they at least made the most of it. Once they made the mistake, once they sent everyone bot, they at least committed to getting more turrets and hopefully getting as much value as they could out of the decisions that they made.
Luckily for them, too, Aim and Ignite is going for the Dragon, so they're going to lose a bit of the Baron timer to go over that instead.
Smite actually whiffing a little bit. There might have been room for a steal there if they had been to the punch just a little quicker, but
Maybe if Shogath had flash. Maybe.
We can see the Gragas finally picking up
Flash
HP, by the way.
Yeah. Good. You should already had it.
Something I was going to mention is that that build in particular falls a little short against someone like Cho'Gath, because Cho'Gath will be able to eat the Gragas and just take a tank out of the fight. We see an engage coming down from Aim and Ignite. They are caught in the bottom side jungle. Shockwave going to decimate the Corki. The Rakan also already dead. We can see the Varus caught in the Cataclysm, but there's no follow-up to punish him for getting stuck inside that with no flash. It's going to be a 1-for-1, but with Baron on Aim and Ignite side, they are going to end up winning that fight just a little bit. They're going to be able to take that turret. Gragas burning the flash body slam, again whiffing. Featherstorm coming out to make sure it does not land.
Yeah, that was a very good Featherstorm. Pretty crucial to keep your Xayah alive here, since she is a lot of your wave clear. If you kill her, you pretty much guarantee the inhibitor, so they still might get the inhibitor, but there's a chance that We Got Late can hold it off.
They've got that Corki coming up in 6 seconds. I think Aim and Ignite are trying to respect that by backing off right now. We see a teleport being used to get top lane, a counter teleport being used. The battle for that top lane outer turret. Turns out it's not going to be taken. Just a waste of their summoner spells there. I think that favors Aim and Ignite.
That favors Aim and Ignite. Your getting the TP off top laner is a really big deal. He can't flank now. He can't TP behind and pull off a flank, so TP isn't as important on your Orianna late game. That's a spell you take for laning phases Orianna, not for late game TPing to a ward and like flashing in like a tank would. So I think it's worth getting the TP off the Jarvan, like 100% worth.
Jarvan as well, right, could have split push pressure. I don't think there's anyone on Aim and Ignite side that could 1v1 that Jarvan in a split push setting. So if the Jarvan has teleport and is in one of those side lanes pushing, then he has to teleport to get into the fight. Where Orianna almost certainly does not want to be doing that, so.
Yeah. I think the Galio is tanky enough to compete in a lane, especially with the Q to wave clear, and just how much wave clear Galio has in general, with Justice Plunge plus his passive. I think he can out-wave clear the Jarvan.
That Galio
maybe
actually
not fight him, but
somewhat hilariously has 2 items with 10 stacks on them, one being a Rod of Ages, the other being a Dark Seal.
He actually has a lot of AP for how tanky he is. He's doing a lot more damage than a normal Galio would.
And I think we've been seeing that. I think this Rod of Ages Galio has been punishing We Got Late maybe a little more than they expected. If you remember that kill on that Xayah in the mid lane, where she actually got last hit by that Galio Q for 300, 400 damage. Just something you're not used to seeing coming out from a Galio. Normally it does a little less than that.
I definitely want to see the damage chart at the end of this game, just to see how much damage Galio is doing in comparison to the other tanks. Galio usually does more damage than other tanks in general, but with the Roa plus the Dark Seal, he's actually hitting pretty hard. It's kind of scary if you're We Got Late.
So we see ourselves at a bit of a juncture right now. No big objectives on the map, nothing really to be taken down. What do you think both teams need to be looking for the next 3-4 minutes right now?
This is just a game of vision right now. That's all it is. This is just get wards, get deep wards, try to keep those deep wards from dying, and just look for picks. If you're We Got Late, you want to just wait for a fight to break out. You don't have engage yourself. Maybe you get lucky and you get a Cataclysm on Varus, but he has Summoners up, so that's pretty ambitious. Look for a pick maybe, but right now, this game is pretty much on ANI.
Well, they have looked for a pick. They get the pick, but they also get picked in the process. 1-for-1 going down, Corki trading for the Rakan. A trade that definitely favors Aim and Ignite. They're going to take this team fight afterwards. They're going to try and go for plays here. We can see that Cho'Gath chasing down the Orianna, going to burn the flash, the Munch killing that Orianna. Varus finds himself stuck in a Cataclysm. He's going to go down as well. It ends up being a 3-for-1 in favor of We Got Late. Now they are both rather low. Cho'Gath going to take the Blast Plant over the wall in between the Galio and the Gragas. Actually not even going to be focused down with how low he was. The Galio going to be almost insected by the Monsoon. They're now going to chase him down. He barely avoids the Rupture. He's going to get silenced. There's not too much CC to chase this, but We Got Late going to go for it. This time the Rupture's going to hit. The Xayah a little distracted by a pink ward there, not actually going to be able to punish that Rupture from landing. Another one going to miss. They're still chasing him down. This Galio is so damn tanky. Going to flash out, and we see that A and Ignite going to dodge out from any negative consequences. They lose the fight. We got late just going to spend so long chasing into the jungle. And time enough for the Corki to respawn, get packaged, show back up, and then kill that Gragas. With Baron spawning in 25 seconds and that Gragas on a 35-second death timer, they actually may be able to rush that Baron down before the Gragas shows back up.
Yeah, it was a pretty clutch fight, and I do think it's funny that Corki had time to rejoin the fight after dying at the beginning. That's how long it lasted. And that's the fourth time that Chazar is just straight up being caught out. He always trades 1v1 somehow, but he just keeps getting caught out and dying, and I think it's going to start costing Aim and Ignite.
We see Jarvan dunking that Varus, going for the EQ, the R as well, landing the Cataclysm on that Varus with no summoner spells. But there's no follow-up. The rest of his team's doing Baron. There's no one there to help out. The Corki, or the Xayah going down, but Varus going down too. It's a trade 1-for-1. So it's now 3 up for both teams, but Gragas is on his way, hoping to make it a 4v3 in time. Cho'Gath chasing down the Orianna, gonna turn back around, kill that Rakan. He's now taken very low. The Monsoon going to heal him up just a little bit. Huge chunks coming out of that Orianna. The Corki is out of mana, does not want to be fighting this anymore. We got late and Aim and Ignite again trading very closely even, 2 for 2. Aim and Ignite though, coming out ahead yet again. They're going to be able to take down that Infernal Drake as We Got Late has to recall.
Yeah, a second Infernal is actually really huge. That gives a massive power spike, but I do think that We Got Late should probably just contest this anyways.
Well, it looks like they're going to. I think this is an interesting call when you have no mana on that Corki. He's going to be able to put out very little damage. He's actually going to go down to that Gragas Explosive Cask. Now, every member of Aim and Ignite very low, but the Janna not going to be able to get the kills. The Cho'Gath not going to be able to get the kills either. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we see Jarvan just split pushing, going to be able to take down that bot lane inhibitor turret. A rather interesting series of events again. So it's a 2 for 0 in favor of Aim and Ignite. Jarvan now very caught out. He's going to go down. Landing the Cataclysm onto Bestrin, doing a bit of damage, but not enough to matter. This has really devolved into a fiesta. Who's winning?
Yeah, this is definitely a bit of fiesta. It's even hard to tell who's actually winning the game. Aim and Ignite, they have the gold lead, but I honestly think it's completely irrelevant at this point in the game. Weird game to cast. We got late. They did manage to get the inhibitor tower bottom. They probably are going to trade it for the Infernal Drake. Maybe not the best trade to give a second Infernal Drake up, but you kind of get what you can get at this point, and getting the inhibitor tower is kind of a big deal. You do open up an inhibitor. Now both bot lane inhibitors are open up.
Looking at itemization, we can see both junglers are on 3 items. The Cho'Gath has half of another. Both top laners on 3 items. Both mid laners on 3 items. Both AD carries on 3 items. And in the bot lane, we actually see, I think we see more items on We Got Late side than we do on Aim and Ignite. They might be down in gold, but I think all of their builds are looking a little more robust right now.
Yeah, and they have a way more expensive build. Corgi's build is one of the most expensive in the game, going for the Trinity Force and the IE. A lot more expensive than going for Morella, Namicon, Liandry's, even though you have that death cap. I don't think it makes a big difference. So, pretty good lead coming out from the Corki with that 15 kill participation on both mid laners. He just has a little more gold, I think. Or they have the same gold, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
The gold lead has been exclusively generated, actually, in the AD carry position. You can see that Varus is up 80
Oh, that's
CS.
almost 100 farm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge lead.
So that is where Aim and Ignite's lead exists. It's on that Varus, but he keeps getting caught out in these fights with the Jarvan and the Cho'Gath running at him so frequently. He's just having a hard time putting down damage from the range that he has. Those Corki R's also hitting him and poking him out pretty heavily. Right now, we see Aim and Ignite has the inside track to that inhibitor. They're going to run it down, threaten to push down mid while We Got Late looks at the Baron. They probably could go for an engage here. It looks like that's what Shady Gecko is looking for, but there is a really small choke there that they'd have to walk through to make it happen. So Aim and Ignite's just going to get that free mid-inner turret. No contest coming out from We Got Late. They're not able to get in position to stop them. Cho'Gath flashing into the middle of the team, landing the Cataclysm onto the Varus, the Jarvan going down, the Shockwave going to defend, Corki going right into the middle of the team. No, not like this, Corki. He's going to get popped immediately. 3 members dead on We Got Late. That was a very strange engage out of them, I think. Getting a little too excited. They're going
very
to lose
overzealous, jumping into 5 people like that. The flash in from Cho'Gath plus the Cataclysm Your carries weren't in position. It doesn't matter if you land the Cataclysm on Varus when you don't have the damage to follow up. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't have the damage to follow up, and their tanks just got shredded.
By the time the Corki package had flown in, the Jarvan and the Cho'Gath already dead.
The Corki packaging was also very questionable, to say the least. There's a lot of over-aggression there. And
I'm going to lay it out there.
Varus.
The Corki package, it was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't the best play I've seen today. I'll say that much.
That was, hello, I would like to die, please. I will deliver myself on 1W. And Aeon Ignite said, don't mind if I do.
Yeah, take the free kill. Why not?
Can I get a side of Baron with that? And now they have the priority on the map
Baron.
yet again.
I hope they can crack some inhibitors open with this. They have the bot inhibitor open. They have the mid inner dead, so they can look to kill that inhibitor tower. I'm hoping that they can break open some inhibitors here. This is the chance to do it with that Baron buff.
I would be surprised if
how this game has been going, they'll probably just tower dive.
and trade like 2 for 3 in favor of we got late, and then they're gonna have to back off and wait for the next Baron to spawn, right?
Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen at this point.
Now, something of note is that Aeon Ignite has 4 dragons to we got late 0, so Elder Dragon is going to be a very strong win condition for Aeon Ignite going forward here. If they're able to secure that, they will be doing 250 true damage on all of their abilities, which is just impossible to deal with.
When you have the 4 dragons too, you shred that Elder, so if they have the opportunity, they're going to kill it very fast.
We see the engage coming out from We Got Late. Jarvan going to get the Varus and the Cataclysm. He's going to be knocked up. He's not even doing DPS, but it doesn't matter. The Orianna Shockwave able to peel off from that Jarvan. Corki going to step a little too far forward, get caught out by the body slam. He's going to go down. Varus now able to free hit, killing the Jarvan, killing the Cho'Gath. That is a 3 for 0 in favor of Aim and Ignite. They are going to be able to close out the game on this with the Baron buff up, the Corki, the Cho'Gath, and the Jarvan all dead. There is no chance that We Got Late's able to hold on here. That is going to be game 1 going over to Aim and Ignite. Unless they found dive.
Tower dives, and I wasn't wrong. They dove the tower, but they pulled it off very nicely. Good tanking all around, the CC stacking. Very well done.
I think the core of that dive was that they waited for the Jarvan to engage on them. And once the Jarvan was in and the Jarvan was dead, there was no risk of getting caught under that turret, stuck inside a Cataclysm, and then they were able to go for free, able to punish We Got Late, and secured the win in game 1.
Yeah. Not the cleanest game, but you won the game, so you take it.